What is going on? Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, depending on when you are watching this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here today, whatever time it may be. It's really cool. We're taking a trip back into the 90s as we run through my Sega titles alphabetically. We've also done some Nintendo titles in here too, just playing old school games that I grew up with. Typically we do my Sega Genesis Classics collection, but I realized they don't really have any M's, N's. It just kind of goes right from the L's into the P's. And I thought, why not throw in some Night Trap on the, I guess it would have been Sega CD for me. I think it came out on a few different systems that were like CD based, with that full motion video aspect that they would put into some of these games of the 90s, where you're actually controlling like the actors and the almost like the story, if you will. I never got a chance to play this game growing up. It wasn't until I was an adult, just maybe about a year ago or so, that I got actually a chance to try this out. Mainly because this was a game that was kind of racy. It's been a lot of time on the news and kind of like in the courts when they were coming up with the ratings and the mature levels of some of the video games with like Mortal Kombat and its violence, and then Night Trap with its undertones of kind of like disturbing violence, and then of course the sexual aspect of the girls in the bathroom and the dancing around. It really became one of those things like, is this something we want our 12 and 13-year-old sons to be exposed to? And it is a very kind of weird, bizarre, creepy game where you have these party goers in this house and some weird, evil monitor room here. And then these creepy little guys who run around the house and try to grab the girls. But we're hanging out in my room watching some old movies, playing some old games, living a life much like we would have back in the 90s. Look at those old Pepsi cans. And I love these games because you get a chance to see some like really cool B actors from some really crappy TV shows back in the day, if that's something that you're into. Right now watching some Prancer on my tablet as well. Definitely something I would have been watching back in the 90s. That was like one of my favorites, still is one of my favorite Christmas movies growing up, but it's getting ready to end, so I'm kind of curious to see what's going to pop up next. But I always liked Prancer. And I think I always liked it because of how cheesy and corny and weird and just like, I don't know, it's such a hokey movie to me, but I think that's the appeal to it. All the characters in it are just such characters, and I don't know, I think a lot of times you get, I mean, like Sam Elliott's, I guess, like the stud of the movie, but I think a lot of times with films, it's always like there's like a romance undertone and a, Hollywood guy and a Hollywood girl, and it's just like a movie full of character actors, and I don't know, I love that aspect of the movie. And just also too the idea of like, is it really Prancer? Is it just a reindeer? You never really know. It just
careful out there, huh?
she just looked right into the camera.
And you.
Well, I guess that's okay because it's supposed to be me.
We're all depending on you, especially
She's like looking
Kelly.
at me.
She should be there.
I am the camera.
I'll switch you over.
But I love the idea, like the end of Prancer, like he runs off of the cliff, and it's like you never really know. Oh, that's weird. All right, see. So the purpose of this game is you're supposed to go around to different like cameras and like stop these guys. By hitting this action button. But the problem is you also want to see like the story play out. And I feel like you miss some of the story trying to jump around and like capture all these guys. And it's really tough because you want to watch like the actors and what's going on. You just keep hitting C, and then hopefully they'll step on something that will trigger.
I was young once too, you know.
Like these guys. But then, see, you missed that guy because you want to watch
Both
this.
know that. But you must start doing your job.
But I do remember my dad telling me, like, because I wanted this game. I was like, oh, I want to play this. This just looks cool because it's like watching a movie
All the two downstairs.
and playing a game at the
Sarah's
same
coming in with
time.
6 more tonight.
6? Yeah.
But I feel like this was one of those where it was behind the shelf, behind the counter, like you had to be
Embarrassed. No, this isn't exactly what I imagined, though.
like a certain age
Has
to
anybody
even
seen my Shamrock
purchase
bag?
this game. Like this isn't a
Which
game
one?
you could
You
just
got
walk
about a
in
million of them.
to a video
off,
store
Bruce.
and
Just have your blood.
just
I
buy
brought you
yourself.
along.
Like
Looks like a healthy bunch.
Yes, it should be a good weekend.
Too
But I
bad
think
we must
the,
visit the Oaks tonight. I'd much rather stay here and enjoy our new guests.
Now, Victor, we can't forget
the
about
answer
the poor
to
augurs.
wanting this was getting Ground Zero Texas, if I'm not mistaken. Why is it not? Nothing. Oh, wait. Oh, I missed all 3 of those guys? Are you kidding me? Where are they going now? Yeah, so the answer to not getting this was getting, I think, Ground Zero Texas. I think I remember my dad just coming home with Ground Zero Texas, and I was kind of like, oh, wow, you know, it's so cool. But I think he felt bad. I couldn't get Night Trap, and he wanted to kind of make it up to me.
Anywhere.
What am I hearing, the Brady Bunch? Oh my God, it's a very Brady Christmas. This is awesome. I think this is like part of the reason why this game was so risque is that you have these guys like creeping around, and then there's also elements of them like sneaking into the bathroom and coming after this girl, and it was just kind of like, you know, what are we teaching our kids here? That, you know, typically you're the Mario character going around trying to save the princess, the innocent blonde girl.
Victor and I have to make a
And in
visit
this
to the
title, you're going
augurs.
around like trying to kidnap her and cause her bodily harm or whatever. And I'm missing these guys left and right, but this is actually probably the best I've ever done with this title is this 23, 17 out of 23. Oh. I felt like Ground Zero Texas was like a very like repetitious kind of a game, but this one, I mean, it's literally like you're just looking at the same Bookshelf. Oh, don't get too close to the bookshelf. I think he knows better. Oh, maybe not. Nope. So it's all just like the same scenarios. But like I said, I feel like, so at least in Ground Zero, Texas, when, you know, there's like danger or whatever, you're in charge of like operating this gun. See, I just don't even know like where. And then you've got this going on. So part of me just wants to watch, you know, like again, this is, I think, part of the reason why this game got such like a bad rap, you know. But like you see, there's like missing the guys here and here, but I mean, I'm hitting the button like nothing really happened. I feel like you got to be like right there. Then there's this guy. You kind of want to watch this, but at the same time, like all this is going on, like the whole musical number. Oh no. Possible 36, I've only captured 19. That's more about the average that I have. Night Trap. Night Trap. But I feel like there's like so much going on, you know, like where's the focus? Where do you go? What do you... Is that part of it? To avoid the distraction of all this stuff? And just focus on these guys? See, they don't want to hit the button like nothing's happening though. Yeah, I think this would have been a game growing up that I would have been like, I don't know, kind of upset that I got, you know, like I would have been like, oh, I thought it was like girls running around and like I would be able to do this and that, but really you just I mean it's like 40 possible, but like I just want to watch this. But that kid was in
We'll see if you can get it fixed.
he was in one of the
Not, we'll have to do it the old
Elm Street movies, like
Take all weekend.
4.
Plans.
I think it was like 4 or 5, something like that. Part 4. Missed those guys. And then if you miss too many...
Look,
oh, here we go.
It was your job to protect Kelly and the rest of those girls. But from what I've just seen, the place is being overrun. You've missed way too many of those suckers. Now, until you figure out how to do your job and do it right, you're dismissed. Breaking contact.
Yeah, see, I feel like maybe with this game, God, this is just like, it just feels so, I'm sorry, I'm gonna take a break. It's like with the Brady Bunch playing, and then I was just watching Prancer, it feels very VHS-y in here today. And now playing this game, where I just feel like this is in that whole realm of video monitoring and VHS, and just like the collections of videos with the little labels, handwritten labels on the side and all that. I was just feeling very VHS-y. But I feel like maybe the point of this game is possibly you're supposed to ignore all the stuff, like all the action that's going on, all the video stuff that's going on that's entertaining, and just focus on the rooms that have the bad guys. And then you get all the bad guys, you beat the game, and then that allows you to unlock the movie aspect of it. So then you can watch all of the cinematics. Like maybe just watching the movie is the reward of beating the game, possibly. I love that opening right there. Yeah, so you have theater, watch all story-related videos. So you beat the game, I guess, because you got to unlock, a complete game to unlock. So I guess that would make sense if Yeah, you just like go through. I guess you kill all the bad guys, and then can I watch this? Oh, I can watch this. This is cool. Okay.
Right on back here?
Yeah. See, with scenes like this, I think that like disturbed parents and Congress and politicians, and was just like, we don't want our kids exposed.
I find that so extremely offensive.
Oh, here we
The
go.
only word you can say to the manufacturers and the shareholders of the company is
Oh, this is
shame
awesome.
on you. Shame, shame, shame on you.
Mark,
This is great.
hold it right there.
Shame on people that produce that trash. It's child abuse, in my judgment.
I don't like it at all.
Mark,
Oh, she was in like Different Strokes or
About
something.
2 months ago, I saw the video game Night Trap for the first time. It is a sick, disgusting video game, in my judgment.
There's the drill. That's the guy with the drill.
Yeah, that
We
is the
must-
guy with the drill. But
We mustn't catch him or we don't see the
No.
gratuitous violence.
It's an effort to trap and kill women.
For the first month or so, I would see Tom and I would say, there is the evil man that made Night Trap. And he'd say, there is the evil man that made Night Trap. But it was a joke for a while. Then the joke started getting serious until a friend of my family's called me and said, hey, did you know Captain Kangaroo came on TV today and said that Night Trap was a bad game?
The danger arises
Wow,
when
look
the
at
subject
this.
of the
This is
software
crazy,
is
right?
of a violent nature.
And that's where it got very serious for me, because I loved Captain Kangaroo.
Well, I mean, God, it was on the front page of USA Today. It was on the front page of the Washington Post. It was on the front page of the New York Times. It was so new. It was so revolutionary at the time that it first came out that it was ideal fodder for somebody who wanted to use it as a political hand grenade.
Your bullets can't hurt me.
Wow.
And when we see the new generation of video
Oh, I had that
games,
too.
and
I had that too.
especially
Lethal Enforcers,
Night
that big
Trap
gun.
and several other examples, in my judgment, they've gone
Yeah,
too
it's
far.
crazy to think that, like,
My son and I,
Sega
Tyler,
CD
who's 11 now, we went to rent a movie.
wasn't
and,
for.
The gentleman said to me, he says,
Aren't
hey,
you
you know,
guys on
Dana,
Night
they took your game off the market. And I said, why? He said, well, obviously there's a bunch of controversy behind it. And I said, oh, really? And
Yeah, like,
that's how I heard.
the Sega CD definitely was not meant for the
It's
12,
not violent,
13-year-old boy.
You know, in any sense. They
I
don't,
feel like
it's not
Sega
violent, it's
was,
not gory,
you know,
it's not anything
was
like
meant
that
for the
at
older
all.
teenager anyway, 16, 17
And the
through
object of the game
college.
is to save the girls that go in for the slumber party.
way to go, Control. I knew you could do it.
Our state of mind about
That was weird.
creating some horrible, frightening thing.
So, you're the troublemaker.
It was really, how many Augs can we trap in the house?
the guy from the New York Times called me and he said, we hear these terrible things are
Yes, it
happening.
is the
And that was
things like
one of
this
the
is
first
this
phone
is
calls
on the
I
and this
got,
was all
that
the
these
time, like
games are really
Mortal
violent and
Kombat,
people,
Lethal
you know, are really up
Enforcers.
in arms about them. And I said, have you
And these
seen
are like
Night
all
Trap?
the things
they're
that
the
were
Augs,
like.
but
Evil
I think this was like
Augs,
maybe one of
They
the
are
only
evil. You
titles
can just tell by the way they're hopping along.
that I didn't
I'm
have. But it was
afraid
like
the
all of the
Augs are our
things that was
biggest
in the news
The
that was like
horrible
kids shouldn't
sex
have
and
this
violence
Spawn,
scene
the comic book,
is in
Image
the
Comics,
bathroom.
all of these things that they're like kids should not
Here,
be
X
reading
marks the
these,
spot.
kids should
This
not
is
be
where
playing
Lisa
these.
gets it.
This is
She is in a nightgown. So I guess this is
this was all the stuff I had
part.
growing up.
And there's, you know, an Aug in the shower. I mean, it was funny. You could hear people laughing on the set because it is.
I don't see why it would be titillating. I had on a spaghetti strap nightgown. It was cute. It was peach. I think it had little flowers here.
The whole sort of reason for having that thing that goes around the neck of the kids that get nailed was to make it something that was sort of so phantasaical and something so non-replicable that there wouldn't be any chance that anybody could mistake it for reality.
Ooh, so scary.
I mean, that happens a lot. I don't know. It's
controversial
one of my
scene.
my biggest
This
fears
is
whenever I
actually
go
the reason
into the
why there's
restroom.
ratings on video games now.
We
It
prefer
is.
self-regulation to government regulation, but make no mistake about it, we will move ahead if you do not.
The one good thing that came from Night Trap is that it created a rating system for titles.
Yep.
I flew to Washington to go to these hearings. In the morning of the hearings,
What was crazy though about these rating
they announced
systems
to
that
us,
were
they told me,
on
"Gee,
all the
you know, we're really
games
sorry.
is
Thanks so much
that
for coming. We're really sorry, but
like
decided there was
retailers
time
paid a bit more
hear your
attention. Like I said, I don't know if I could have just
And then at
walked
some point in the
and bought a
hearings,
mature
Dorgan
game.
is
Possibly,
reading
I
from there. He
probably
says,
could
yeah,
have.
and it's a shame Mr. Zito couldn't be here to
But also, like,
defend
stores
this horrible
weren't
filth
really
that this company
readily when you were that young,
Senator,
you know?
I am here, and I'd be happy to talk
So
about
for me
it.
to just to go to a department
You're out of
store, I would
order.
have to
Just,
go with my
you know, be
parents
quiet
anyway
back
at that age.
These people are crazy.
That I actually did see TV
But
reports
like
that the option of
rentals,
the game was
like
to
video
kill and rape
rentals,
sexy co-eds.
even
There was
movies. I mean, it
absolutely
was like
no
there was
sex.
no.
Sex?
I don't ever recall from the time I was like 12,
unless you're
13,
attracted
14,
to
15.
large dark objects that go
All
like
through
this,
high school to the time when I even started
there wasn't
working at the video store, ever carding anybody or telling
This
somebody
is where she just
you
bumped
can't
into.
rent
Good Lord.
this
It's
movie. I
gratuitous.
mean, I
It's
feel like
sex.
if, you know, a 10-year-old
At the end of the
walked in
hearings,
with
I
his
walked
video
up to Leroy
card
and
and
I
a
said to
$5
him,
bill from his
"Senator,
parents and wanted to rent
have you ever
RoboCop,
actually
like,
played
we would
this
just
game?"
let them rent
And he said, "I
RoboCop.
don't have to. This is filth."
There was,
And
you
I
know,
think that Night Trap
teenagers
was
and
meant
high
for under
schoolers working at the
wolves
video
as-
stores when I was
as
growing up in
bait,
middle
like,
school, and they
here,
never
have this one.
I
were
want
like,
to
oh, you
state
can't
that
rent
Night
this or you
Trap
can't
will
rent
never
that, or, you
appear
know.
on a Nintendo system.
So there was
Obviously, it would
rating
not
systems,
pass
but
our
I don't know
guidelines.
how.
You know, when all this TV coverage was going on, I was on a TV show, and when I needed the Night Trap footage, it was Nintendo that was like, oh, we'll send it to you.
How much it really affected my gameplay. I mean, I'm sure it affected a lot of gameplay. I hear videos and watch videos of stuff where, you know, parents really did pay attention to these ratings. You know, like they would grow
I
up
had
and it
some
was.
controversy in my life, and I just found it
Yeah,
interesting that there was some controversy behind this also. But it's like this dark cloud, you know, that just kind of follows me.
Yeah, she's been through some stuff.
You know, I have this horrible feeling that 20 years from now, somebody's going to call me and say, Jim, we want to do an interview, you know? And I'm going to say, great, you know, is it Wirehead? Is it this new show? And, no, Night Trap, the classic, the great, you know, we want to get the behind the scenes of Night Trap. Now, I'm going to be pulling this stupid binder out, you know, every 5 years going, yeah, well, we had a lot of fun.
Wow, that is really cool. That is really cool.
Mark.
I mean, talk about taking a trip into the 90s, right?
Rick, will you tell these guys to stop bugging me?
What's really cool now is like, you know, I'm sitting there like drinking, like, oh man, I would really like to watch the Night Trap videos. You know, like how I don't want to play the whole game. This game seems like it's a daunting effort. I don't know. It might be fun to actually beat it. But I was just thinking, like, nowadays with like YouTube and stuff, I could probably just go on and just type in YouTube. Just type in YouTube to my computer and say access now, computer. Actually, I'm gonna go and see. Let's take a look while we're talking about it. Yep, Night Trap, perfect cut, full movie. About 48 minutes long. Oh, not too bad. There you go. So you don't have to play the game anymore. Oh, and then here we go. Is this available? This is available.
My name is Jim Riley, and I was
Look at this.
co-creator.
It was just saying. He was thinking, my time's about to run out, or otherwise we would watch that. Maybe we'll take a look at that separately someday. But yeah, my alarm is about to go off here in a second. Oh, I didn't know this. It looks like if you click on the basement and then you go back, the color of the screen changes. Oh, that was white before. Oh, yeah, okay, it does. All right, weird. Cool. Interesting. But, yeah, there we go. Like I said, this is a game I do remember asking for. I wanted. I feel like my dad would have gotten it for me. But what's interesting is, like, with everything that my dad, like, let me play and, like, you know, was cool with me watching and, you know, the videos that I could rent and stuff like that. Like I said, I don't think I really had a filter or as heavy of a censor, if you will, that some of my friends had. I was kind of open to watch and play what I wanted to. Let's see, there's a timer right there. He was a bit, like there were a bit of restrictions on like nudity and like that whole thing. So I have a feeling once he talked with the the store clerk or whoever he was speaking with, and they were like, well, yeah, there's like, you know, nudity and girls running around or whatever. He was probably like, no, I'm not going to get him this game. But Ground Zero Texas, I was like, they probably like, is there anything similar? And they pulled that out instead. And I think that was how I came about that game. But I do feel that even though like the violence, the shooting, the death, the blood, all of that kind of stuff, the action, my dad didn't really worry about as much as me being exposed to some of like the sexual and more adult video games. So Sega CD had some other games that were a little bit more risque and adult, as well as some of these other systems that were kind of coming out of the 90s and testing like the limits of what we could do with our video game systems. Well, anyway, that's about it. Thanks for hanging out here with me in the 90s. This has been a trip with Prancer on in the background, and now some very Brady Christmas as we're getting into the holidays. I want to make sure you guys like, share, follow, subscribe, all that jazz. And you want to make sure you subscribe because we do have an announcement coming up later on at the end of this next little run of video games that we're looking at as we are running through this last weekend in November, getting into December, so you don't want to miss that. I'm going to miss you guys. Until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and don't spend that quarter anywhere else.